Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to announce that we shall begin our program shortly. So here are a few reminders to take note of before starting our program. Firstly, I would like to remind all of you to kindly switch your device on silent mode to avoid interruption. Secondly, participants are reminded to fill in the feedback and attendance form that shall be provided in the chat box by our committee members. Lastly, there will be a Q&A session with our panelists at the end of our program. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, you are invited to participate in the Q&A session. Thank you for your cooperation. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam UITM di hatiku. A very good morning I bid to all. To begin our event with blessings, I would like to call upon Mr. Muhammad Fakri Idlan to lead the dua recitation and a moment of silence. Please welcome Mr. Muhammad Fakri Idlan.
Kita mulakan dengan bacaan umul kitab Al-Fatihah. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Arrahmanirrahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma innaka khalaqul azim, innaka samiun alim, innaka ghafurur rahim, innaka rabbul arsyil azim, inna laka pujian. Engkau yang berhak menerima segala kepujian. Allahumma ya rahimu ke atas program international program hingga akhirnya. Ya fa'alu lima yuridu, kami dan daripada segala perkara yang melalaikan kami dari berbuat taat kepadamu. Padamu jualah kami berserah segala urusan kami. Kami berkumpul untuk menimba ilmu, bertukar pendapat, menyumbangkan buah fikiran, menghubungkan silaturahim dan memberi sokongan ke arah meningkatkan lagi prestasi kami. Allahumma ya qayyum, kau berkatilah semua warga UiTM Kampus Seremban 3 dan Universitas Pembangunan Nasional Veteran Indonesia. Kau rahmatilah kami dan jauhkanlah kami dari sebarang bala, bencana dan kemaksiatan. Kerana sesungguhnya kaulah Tuhan yang maha berkuasa, maha pengasih penyayang. Rabbana alaika tawakkalna wa ilaika anabna wa ilaikal masir. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Amin amin ya rabbal alamin. Thank you, Mr. Fakri Idlan, for leading the dua recitation. It is hoped that our event today will be granted with Allah blessings and guidance. Molek sungguh buah bidara, tumbuh sepohon di hujung pekan. Sebelum kata membawa bicara, ucapan salam kami hulurkan. Ladies and gentlemen, it will be my pleasure to honor Yang Berbahagia Associate Professor Madya Dr. Abdul Jalil Muhammad Ali, Dean of Faculty of Administrative Science and Policy Studies, advisors and resident staffs of non-resident SRNR UiTM Seremban 3, distinguished guests and panelists representing Malaysia and Indonesia, and last but not least, our fellow audiences. On behalf of Jawatan Kuasa Perwakilan Non-Resident GPNR committee members, we wish to extend our warm welcome, selamat datang, and thank you to all audiences, guests of honors, delegates and representatives from Universitas Pembangunan Nasional Veteran Jakarta to our international program Views and Ways of Combating the Pandemic COVID-19 from our youth. My name is Nur Najiha binti Hisham and I'll be your MC for today. We are honored to be a collaborator with Universitas Pembangunan Nasional Veteran Jakarta, also known as UPN Veteran Jakarta. UPN Veteran Jakarta is a public university under the Ministry of Research and Technology located in South Jakarta and also has separate campuses in Depok and Bogor. For your information, ladies and gentlemen, our focus for today's event is to share the perspectives between two countries on discussing the COVID-19 outbreak and the country's immunization program and how the panelists respond to the consequences of their academic performances. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let us warmly invite Encik Ahmad Zarif bin Muhammad Ashari, advisor of SRNR UiTM Seremban 3, to deliver his forthcoming speech.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh and a very good morning and very good day and salam UiTM di hatiku. Alhamdulillah, let us together to be thankful to the Almighty for letting us to attend this graceful program on a lovely morning. Okay, I would like to express my gratitude to the committee member on handling this international program entitled View of the Youth Combating the Pandemic. Together for giving me opportunity to deliver my warm welcoming and opening speech. I open-heartedly welcome our delegates from Indonesia to joining us on to joining our international program for today. Your presence today is appreciated and look forward to bring this program into a success. Okay, without the further without without further, I will explain a little on the aim for this international program, which is look into insight on how these two countries, Malaysia and Indonesia, on solving the issues on education constraints during the pandemic COVID-19. The next purpose on this international program is to form a strong bond and connection between these interrelated countries to hopefully figure out ways together on combating the pandemic. Lastly, we all can listen the level acceptance on vaccination from citizen Malaysia and how Indonesia from our panelists based on their respective country. Last but not least, I would like to emphasize that this international program is an opportunity for us all to make a major step on sharing and exchange the knowledge, ideas, opinions, and experience that can make the country's higher institution a better place for education purpose while combating the pandemic. By that, with Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I officiate this international program, View of the Youth Combating the Pandemic Together. Thank you and wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Encik Ahmad Zarif, for that warm welcoming speech. Now, without further ado, we will turn the time over to our moderator for today, Ms. Fatin Nur Elmira. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Nona Jiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum, salam UiTM di hatiku and good morning everyone. My name is Fatin Nur Elmira and I will be your moderator for today. Alhamdulillah, we are grateful to Allah because with His bounty, we can meet in this morning's program. First of all, I would like to welcome everyone to this forum. In this special occasion, we would like to have a discussion about the views of the youth from Malaysia and Indonesia on the ways of combating the COVID-19 pandemic. As we all know, the COVID-19 issue is one of the actively debated issues across the country. Therefore, in line with our title this morning, our invited panelists are made up of those with extensive experience knowledge and opinions on the matters to be discussed. Without further ado, let's get to know our panels, shall we? Alright, our very first panel, Ms. Daryl Anissa, a student majoring in International Relations of Universitas Pembangunan Nasional Veteran, Jakarta, Indonesia. How are you today, Ms. Daryl? Alright. Okay. Next is our second panel member, Ms. Dila Andini Noshadrina, also a student majoring in International Relations of Universitas Pembangunan Nasional Veteran, Jakarta, Indonesia. How are you feeling today, Ms. Dila?
Great, thank you. I'm very honored.
Alright. Moving on to the third panels is a student from University Technology Mara, UiTM Seremban 3, Ms. Putri Ain Ikhlas, majoring in Corporate Administration. How are you, Ms. Putri?
Great, thank you for asking.
Alright. Lastly, our fourth panel, who is also a student from University Technology Mara, UiTM Seremban 3, namely Ms. Nurzatul Miza, majoring in Public Administration. How are you doing, Ms. Zatul?
Fine, thank you.
Great. Alright. So, for the first question for today's forum, our first question, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, what are the changes that had been made in the education system in your country? With all due respect, I here would like to invite Ms. Daryl Anissa for her answer to the question that was previously asked. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you for the questions and hello everyone. Good morning from Indonesia. And let me answer the questions. Okay, so it's been like for 1 year, Indonesia has experienced very sad conditions. Like Corona is present in Indonesia and change all aspects, including the educations. Last year, I graduated from high school with online graduations, and it's just like that. So from this, we can conclude it that Corona automatically changed the education system in Indonesia. And the government took a policy that the education system in Indonesia must be conducted online, and the government conduct online learning when Corona first appeared in Indonesia. The learning system where everything is done by Zoom meeting or Google Meet is quite even very difficult to do at the first time. Because imagine like usually we're going to the school, meet our friends and our teacher, but right now we cannot do that because everything must be done online. About the mental and physical health, I cannot lie, but it is affect our mental and physical health because uh, when the situation change suddenly, we cannot meet our friends or our teachers. It makes us feel like why the situations is different, not the same as usual. And also for the physical health, we stand in front of our laptop from morning until 3 p.m. It feels like it's just tired. So yeah, I think it is affecting our mental and physical health. So I think it's the answer for me. Thank you for the questions.
Alright, thank you, Ms. Daryl, for the detailed sharing just now. Now, let's hear the answer from Ms. Norzata Miza regarding the same question on the changes that have been made in the education system in your country. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Moderator. First and foremost, I am glad to be part of this program, and thank you for inviting me to be one of the speakers for today. As everyone knows, since this pandemic happens in our world, it has caused a major disruption in every academic sector as well as the education sector. Most of the education system in the world has shifted to a full online learning method as well as in Malaysia. In Malaysia, all the students from kindergarten to higher education need to go through online distance learning or known as ODL. Means that no physical classes happening except for the courses that need to use the lab, for example, the medical students. Fully ODL is such a new norm for us. Many obstacles that need to face, and different students has their own obstacles that need to deal. Some of them might feel that ODL is easy and some of them might feel hard. University of Malaya Association of New York, President Yap Wenshin said most students have adapted to the use of e-learning during this Movement Control Order (MCO) and Conditional Movement Control Order (CMCO) period, and were generally doing fine, except during the earlier periods when they were familiarizing themselves with the system and means of communication. According to Yam, as for the differences between face-to-face learning in physical classrooms or e-learning, he said that this was subjective, with some students viewing e-learning as saving their time and energy spent on commuting, while other students may feel that interaction is more limited for e-learning and when it comes to group discussion carried out through videos meeting and virtual chat rooms. It cannot deny that somehow ODL does affect students' mental health as they frequently feel exhausted and drained every single day as there are many workloads that need to be done and submit, and plus there will be some students that need to deal with the internet connection issue. This internet connection issue will affect not only their performance in classes but also their mental health as they will feel lost and tired of this problem. There is one student from Sabah, Malaysia, Viviana, who went viral because she needs to climb the tree and sleep in the jungle just to attend and sit for her online test. The effort that she needs to do as the connection of the internet in her area was really, really bad. I am sure that there are many of the students who face the same problems as Viviana, and maybe this issue also happened in Indonesia as well. So in Malaysia, the government took the initiative to help those students who have been troubled to attend their online classes by giving these students free internet plan and also giving out the laptops to help the students attend their online classes. Um, on the other hand, some of the students keep their online classes because they are truly exhausted and their mental health truly cannot afford to attend the classes. It is because they consume most of their time sitting in front of the laptop, not only to attend the class, but also to finish all the assignments. Students will easily feel drained and demotivated as they need to do the same routine most every day. This issue happens to many of the students, and some of them need to see a psychiatrist in order to help them to go through this kind of problem. To be honest, me myself feel exhausted during this ODL. It has been 3 semesters. I'm doing ODL, and the first semester was smooth, and my motivation during that time was really, really high. But now I admit that I'm getting tired with the ODL not happening only to me, but also to my friends. They also feel the same thing as me. Sometimes we having trouble during the discussion as there will be 1 or 2 person in the group having the trouble with the internet connection. So we have to shift from Google Meet discussion to the WhatsApp group discussion. But sometimes having discussion on the WhatsApp will having trouble of the communication, and we need to explain the assignments over and over again in order for us to understand the word. Um, I cannot deny that the workload during ODL is really, really a lot. For me, I do feel like the workload during ODL is double than the physical classes. Those workloads cause me to mentally drain and burn out. Crying every night is normal for me and it feels like a routine. But I am glad to have a very, very great support system that can help me going through all this. For example, my friends, my group mates helping for the assignments and having family that understand my situation. They all are really, really such a gift. To wrap my answer, I hope that everything will be back to normal, and I pray that the COVID will go away and there will be no more online classes. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Zatu, for your insightful opinion just now. As we all know, students in Malaysia are currently going through ODL. Same like other countries, Indonesian students also have to conduct classes online as mentioned by Ms. Dara just now. The use of Google Meet and other online platforms are undeniably crucial. It's obvious that ODL causes students to be unable to meet their friends. Moreover, Most certainly, it will affect their mental and physical health when they have gone through in a long period of time, as said by Ms. Dato and Ms. Derek. Adding into that, students are not always fortunate to own mobile gadgets or a stable internet connection to go through online class. Juggling online classes and tasks at home are not the easiest task to do. Students may feel the burden of online classes in a home environment demotivating. Alright, now let's moving on to the second question. As we all know, the vaccination rollout in Malaysia is considered quite slow than in Indonesia. I would like to ask, what is the level of acceptance on vaccination in both countries, and what are your opinions on the people who reject the idea of vaccination? I would like to invite Ms. Pucu Ain Ikhlas to give her opinion regarding the question earlier on. I'll be passing the mic to you.
Thank you, Ms. Fatin. I'm very happy and honored to be one of the speakers for the international program today. To answer your question, I believe that there's a high rate of acceptance of the COVID-19 vaccine among the Malaysians. There's an online questionnaire that I have come across to which was distributed to 1,500 respondents via a snowball sampling method among the Malaysians aged 18 years and above, and a majority number of them accept the vaccine. The Malaysian government and other related agencies have increased their campaign and well prepared to implement the COVID-19 mass immunization program among the Malaysians. There are also several types of vaccination that have been chosen by the government for the citizens, such as Pfizer, Sinovac, and AstraZeneca. And as of today, out of 31.95 million of population in Malaysia, only 7.5% of them have been fully vaccinated. To be specific, as at 21st June 2021, the Ministry of Health (MOH) said that the country has received about 4.08 million doses of Pfizer, 3.69 million doses of Sinovac, and 828,000 doses of AstraZeneca. Even with the slow progress, the Special Committee of COVID-19 Vaccine Supply (JKJAV) managed to cater the people of Malaysia to receive their respected doses of vaccine. And as for my case, most of my friends have already received their first dose of vaccine, and so far, most of them has given me a positive feedback on the process conducted by the committee. And if I'm not mistaken, there are 5 stations placed in every vaccination center from the registration until the observation, and the process conducted were well ordered, plus the signs for every station are big enough for older people to see it. Despite the high acceptance rates, it remains important to address concerns among the hesitant individuals by building trust in vaccine safety and effectiveness, though through adequate information regarding the vaccine. Personally, for me, the government of Malaysia have done their best in terms of educating the people of Malaysia on the importance of vaccine through the mass media. Somehow, I can't deny that there are still the minority group which rejects the idea of getting vaccinated due to some factors. There's studies from other countries have identified many factors that influence the acceptance of the COVID-19 vaccine. This include the perception of the disease, perception of vaccine safety and efficacy, and also the general vaccination attitudes. Believe it or not, it is not easy to change someone's mindset. But those people, I believe, need more exposure and awareness regarding the goods or the benefits of vaccinated. One of the factors on why Malaysians do not accept the vaccine is due to the concerns of halal and haram on the religious grounds. The Fatwa Committee of the National Council for Islamic Religious Affairs have carried out a muzakarah, or in other words, discussion, in December 2020 and came to the resolution that the use of COVID-19 vaccine is not only permissible, which is harus in Islam, but also obligatory, wajib. The Kelantan Islamic Religious and Malay Customs Councils have taken initiatives that they will take action against any preacher who gives lectures that discouraging COVID-19 vaccination as it could influence people on the false information, which could lead to an increased number of people that does not believe in the vaccine. They need to know that if they didn't get the vaccine, they actually will harm other people. And most importantly, the people around them, which includes their family. And I'm not sure if there's any of you guys who are aware about this, but there's this case where a man has already done his second dose of vaccine, but still got infected by COVID-19. However, because of the vaccine that he took, the people around him are all tested negative for COVID-19. Therefore, from this, we can see that vaccine actually works and it helps people from getting the COVID-19. Those who reject the vaccine prefer to obtain information about COVID-19 via social media rather than from authentic or credible sources. According to a study, most of the anti-vaccine groups consist people aged from 25 to 34 years and 35 to 44 years. A psychiatrist named Dr. Muhammad Faris Iman Leong Abdullah said those in minority group also choose to refer to unverified news on the internet and to be misinformed about the vaccines before spreading them to others. He said, psychologically, those who refuse to take the vaccines are people who only care about their interests and their own opinions. He also said that these groups of people like and tend to use social media such as Facebook and WhatsApp to get others to believe them. Dr. Muhammad Faris Iman also mentioned that there were also a small number of anti-vaxxers who come to their own conclusions that the vaccines are unsafe and would lead to another chronic illness. Another reason why people didn't believe in vaccine is because many are confused about the meaning of vaccines. This may be because we rarely face such pandemics. The lack of understanding on the vaccines will then lead to various negative perceptions on them. When there are too many negative stories about the effects of the vaccine, such as people are still being exposed to COVID-19 even after being vaccinated, and some will die after taking the vaccine, the community will tend to not believe that vaccination actually will help them from the COVID-19. And lastly, from me, of course, no doubt that the government plays an important role in combating this pandemic. But all the hard work would surely be go to waste if the citizen does not follow the standard operation procedure which has been set by the government. I think that is all from me. We all play a part in combating this pandemic. I hope I'm answering this question, and I'm hoping that all of us could really work together in combating this pandemic together. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Putri, for your informative perception on the vaccination rollout. All right, now I would like to present our last speaker for today, Ms. Dila Andini Noshadrina, to give her 2 cents about the question on the vaccination issue.
Okay, first of all, thank you for the opportunity, and I'm very honored and glad here to speak on behalf of my university, my organization, and of course my country. So, regarding the question that asked by the moderator, I have to admit from my personal experience concerning the vaccination process in Indonesia, because I already got my second dose of vaccine, and so does my entire big family. So, in Indonesia, for the past month, vaccination distribution towards Indonesian people has been done quite evenly. So before this meeting, I've done little research, and I gathered some information that by June 30, the number of people who has been vaccinated in Indonesia are 29-ish million of people who already got their first dose of vaccine. And there are about 13 million-ish of people who already got their second dose of vaccine or being fully vaccinated. So what are the level of acceptance among Indonesian people? So again, before this meeting, I've done a little research that our Ministry of Health does research too, just like Malaysia, I think, in previous speech that the Malaysian government also did some research. And our Ministry of Health reported that approximately 65% of Indonesian expressed their willingness to accept the COVID-19 vaccine if it's provided by the government, while about nearly 8% hesitate and said that they will not take it, which the remaining, which is the 25%, expressed their hesitations toward government intention to distribute the COVID-19 vaccine. So I have to draw a line here first that these 25% of people is critical for a successful vaccination program that been held by the Indonesian government. Because we all know that amid the coronavirus crisis, which has brought travel to a standstill and put the global economy on the ropes, the vaccine seems to offer the most promising and prominent way out. But still, there are a lot of individuals who are not believe in vaccine and also scared to get their vaccine. So there's like little jokes here for a little intermezzo in Indonesia. There is a video on social media that spread to the public where this video shows a guy who said that he's been vaccinated, and then he shows on the video he shows his area of arm that has been vaccinated, and then he put a coin on his arm, and the coin did not drop, and it spread around the public and brought out the speculation that the vaccine that we got contain some sort of 4G magnetic tracking device chip, which is absolutely not true and ridiculous. But actually, what are my opinion towards those people who hesitate or reject the idea of vaccination? So we have to draw a line again here first that not everyone who exhibit a vaccine hesitancy is a conspiracy theorist. I think it's very reasonable for them and for us and for people to ask the side effect or worries they might have. But as you can see, others, a large group of people have been fallen into an alternative world of unverified facts, the QAnon and wild theories. But then, to be able to live in a world like normal and to recover everything, we have to build a community with an Indian. So it is very true from what Putri said that in the previous speech that it is very hard to change people perspective if they already got a bad view about vaccination. But I do have a little tips on how to talk to a vaccine denier in your life, whether it's your family member, or if it's your friends, or just everyone around you. So I've done a little note here is first, to talk to a vaccine denier in your life is you have to try to establish a common ground. I believe it's important to establish some kind of mutual understanding. Because you might think they are ridiculous and a conspiracy theorist, but they feel the same about you. It's more of a symmetry of perception because they think we are being brainwashed by the government and the mainstream media, and we all think the same of them because we think that they are being brainwashed by conspiracy theorists they read from Reddit, but that's one of the important thing is we have to try to establish a common ground with those vaccine denier or the anti-vax group. And the second one is we have to keep the line of communication open. The most important thing you can do with a friend or a family member is to maintain communication. Because if you're not communicating, you're not going to be able to help. And then lastly is if you are trying so hard to convince someone to get their vaccine and they still don't want it, I think lastly is just don't give up, but maybe take a little break. Because people often take a very long time to get out of the rabbit hole. Because if they are in a phase where they are obsessively consuming content from, let's say, Instagram conspiracy theorists or YouTube conspiracy theorist video, it is going to be very difficult for us to make any headway because they are always moving on to something new. And lastly, the most important thing is in order to de-radicalize people and exclusively this vaccine denier is has to be really one-on-one kind of thing. So we can't just spread some kind of message towards the media or that say that you are going to have the vaccine and then it's very good, but it's more like to be a one-on-one person kind of thing. Because it's not like you can send some kind of message, as I said, through the media that's going to pull everyone back. It has to come from the people they trust. So if you do meet a friend or your family member who did not want to get a vaccine, you have to like talk to them slowly and then just try to convince them and to tell them slowly. I think that's all from me. And thank you for the opportunity again. I'll give back to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dila, for your impactful point of view on the vaccination issue. It is important to establish a common ground to get the idea where the problem. Moving on, it is crucial to interact well with people around you to help them understand the importance of vaccination. All in all, that is sum up of Ms. Dila points for today. As in Malaysia, as Ms. Putri has said, although the vaccination rollout is slow, but the government is doing an initiative to fasten the process. Also to add, vaccination have many advantages such as moving into herd immunity and decrease the risk to infect others. Therefore, it is crucial for everyone to take the idea of vaccination seriously. Don't forget to take the vaccine. After the second dose, everyone can freely travel interstate again. Thank you for both of our speakers. All right. Well, before we end our forum this afternoon, here are some questions that have been asked by participants. I hope our speakers are still eager to answer questions from the participants. All right, for the first question we have here is, what you guys do during this pandemic to prevent from stress besides studying or focusing on ODL? Can I have Ms. Daryl to answer this question?
Okay, thank you for the question. So, things that I do during this pandemic to reduce my stress is I do some productive activities like baking. You know, Korean cake is getting viral nowadays, so I do some baking. I have classes. I also have courses studying about other language, and so I think to reduce our stress and do some positive activity during the pandemics is we can do a lot of things such as baking. You can bake, you can talk to your friends with the Zoom or Google Meet or Line, or there's a lot of applications that you can use, and you can have a lot of time with your family too. I think you can do many things as long as you want to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Daryl, for the answer. How about you, Ms. Datu? What do you do if you stress studying or focusing on ODL?
Thank you for the questions. For me, besides doing assignments, I will take a break. For example, playing games that will relax my mind from thinking all the assignments and all those words, and also maybe can release your stress by talking to your friends and having time, spending your time with your family in order for you to distract yourself from thinking about the assignments, the classes, and maybe some sort of me time. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Datu, for your sharing. All right, next question. Throughout this whole forum, we mainly focusing on the challenges and struggles we face during the pandemic. So my question to the panelists is, can you share with us any silver linings behind what we are facing right now? For this question, to answer this question. All right.
Okay, thank you. Question. What are the silver linings? Because famous said that every cloud has a silver lining, but personally, I haven't seen that silver lining from now on because we have in Indonesia, there is still a lot of high cases of COVID-19, but I think after the COVID-19, there are a lot of things that we could learn. Um, First of all, is because we are mostly time at home with our family. I think silver lining is that we can think of right now is we can have a lot of time to spend with my family because before the pandemic began, my campus is in Jakarta and my hometown is in Bogor. So I live in Jakarta and I was far from my family and I did not get to spend a lot of time with them and to bond with them. But because of the pandemic, I spend most of my time at home. And of course, beside doing online assignment and then doing online learning, I get to know my sister pretty well, and then just I get to bond with my parents at home. We take dinner together, and then we take breakfast together. This is just one of the silver lining that we can think of is we can spend more time with our family and just bond more. I think that's all for me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Miss Dila, for the answer. How about you, Miss Putri? What is your opinion?
So, as for my opinion, the first silver lining of COVID-19 would be the rapid development of the telemedicine. The telemedicine has taken off exponentially during this pandemic, increasing the access to patients with mobility problems, augmenting regular check-ins from disease surveillance teams, and also enabling the rural patients to access a larger physician network without the geographic restraints of required in-person appointments. Telemedicine has reduced healthcare costs for the patients and providers and decreased the risk of transmit infection. And another point of view from mine is the more time for our family and self. Physicians have always faced the tension between the clinical work and time at home with their family. With virtual meetings and conference, physicians can practice without commuting to the hospital or traveling to other cities. Because of the quarantine practice, families have more time to spend together, enjoying the new activities. We know that if it's not because of this pandemic, we will rather not spend time with our family. We choose to go out instead. We spend a lot of our time with works instead. So with this pandemic, during this quarantine days, we actually get to spend more time with our family and appreciate their presence around us. I think that's all for me. Thank
Thank you, Miss Putri, for your opinion. All right. Next question is from Shafiq. May I ask for the Indonesian speakers, with what's going on in your country, do you see an end to this pandemic by this year? If not, by when do you predict? Thank you. So, Miss Daryl, can you answer this question?
Okay, so for these questions, um, currently in Indonesia, we're experiencing a high spike cases, and right now we are implementing PPKM, or other countries say it as a lockdown. So we cannot go anywhere. All the public places closed, and this lockdown is happening from 3 to 20 July. And this is the government policy to suppress the spread of the virus. And currently, the hospital is full and the situation is quite worrying. Maybe at this time, I have not seen a bright light for Indonesia, but I am sure that in the future, Indonesia can and will be able to get through these hard situations because every single person of us are doing hard works to face these situations and getting through of these difficult situations. And also, we'll continue to always implement our protocols. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Miss Daryl. All right, next question from Hakimi. Hi, good morning. I genuinely wonder, in terms of helping those who are not privileged, is there any form of help that the government of Indonesia do? All right, thank you in advance. Can Miss Dila answer the question?
Okay, thank you, Hakimi from YouTube. So yes, there are several form of help that our government um, do to help those who are not privileged. One of them is we call it the bantuan langsung tunai, which is the government gave them the money, which is because our government is built by several provinces. So every province has done that with the BLT or the bantuan langsung tunai or the cash money help from the government. And other than that, our government also has um, helped those who are not privileged by giving them free electricity. Um, but I haven't heard a lot about it because but I've seen it in the news that government are giving away a free electricity bill to those who are not privileged and those who are being affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. And also, our government help students in the rural area because Indonesia also has a lot of the jungle side, just like Malaysia, those who are not in the city, the government gave them a free gadget or laptops and phone for them, and also an internet plan to support the online learning. And then lastly, I think because there are a diminishing rate or there are declining rate about job opportunity towards a fresh graduate in Indonesia. To help that, our government also have a kartu prakerja, which is a card that help people who are not employed to get their skill online from Skill Academy, which is an online platform by the government to help them seeking online a job so they could be employed, even though it's during the pandemic. I think that's all from me. I'll give it back to moderator. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Miss Dila. All right, next question is okay. Hi, dear panelists. What will you do if any of your family member rejects the idea of vaccination? Do you mind sharing some specific ways to change their mindset? Can I ask Miss Putri to answer this question? Miss Putri, can I ask you to answer this question? Good.
Yes. Okay, sorry for the internet
Alright,
problem. So in my
alright.
opinion, and accept the vaccine, we can actually help to supply clear information for them. Like if you feel your friends or family members trust you to give them the straight story, then we can actually help them to summarize findings rather than provide detailed studies. For example, people who express concerns about the vaccine being fast-tracked without sufficient testing of its safety, for them it makes sense to explain why the vaccines were developed so quickly because of the prior work creating vaccines for similar virus and international cooperation, as well as how safe they are and like where all those details that all those antiviruses may not know about it. and then we can actually listen to their concerns and empathize for them. While our first inclination to vaccine resistors may be to chastise them or come at them with an arsenal of facts, that's likely to be ineffective. Instead, we should listen to the people's concern without judgment, and so we can better address their needs. Because it's for me, it's important to really listen and understand because maybe somebody has a very reasonable concern and just needs some clear information regarding the vaccine. Thank you.
Alright, thank you, Ms. Putri. Okay, our last question is from Norris Danoy in YouTube. Question for Indonesian speaker. How Indonesian government manage the COVID and how the government reach out people from rural area, especially from Eastern Java? Can Ms. Daryl answer the question?
Okay, thank you for the next questions. So, as previously mentioned, that our government in Indonesia has implemented a lockdown or PPKM. It is implemented from Java to Bali, uh, and it is to the deepest area. The way the government can handle it to the rural area is with the assistance through the neighborhood forwarded to the hamlet and the urban village and until the sub-district. So and currently from Java, also Eastern Java and Bali are a special concern for the government Indonesia because of the increasing number of the corona access. And thank you for the questions.
Alright. Alright. We have another question from YouTube. Alright. Last question, I guess. Hello, I have question for Malaysian speakers. What effort is your government giving to reduce the numbers of COVID patient and was it successful? Can I ask Ms. Norzatu Mirza to answer this question?
Thank you for the questions. Okay, actually, there's a lot of government do for the Malaysians to cope with COVID-19. For example, the vaccination, the registration for the vaccination, where they prioritize the people who is cap sorry they prioritize people who are easily getting COVID-19. For example, the elderly, the people who is easily getting diseases. So they prioritize this type of people to getting vaccine first, and also the lockdown the lockdown they close all uh, they close 90% of the actor and ask these people to work from home so that they will prevent the disease, this kind of COVID-19 diseases, and also uh, there's also the bantuan from the kerajaan, which in Malaysia we call that bantuan prihatin, BPM Bantuan Prihatin Nasional, and it's giving out the money aid for the people who need, who have sources of income, and also uh, and also the lockdown, which we cannot travel interstate, and also in our district we only have we only going out if there is necessary, and there's a lot of police to taking care of the road in order to prevent people from travel travel interstate. uh, yeah, I think it quite not quite successful, but it's ongoing process. I can say it's a long journey and it takes a lot of effort, not only the government, but also we as the citizens, we need to cooperate with the government, follow the SOP so that we can prevent this COVID from spread to the other people and getting this work, getting safety. So that's, I hope that I answered the questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Nurzatul. It looks like we still have questions from YouTube. I hope the speakers do not mind answering more questions. All right, from Dimas Mufti in YouTube. Hi, I would like to ask a question regarding the pandemic that's still ongoing. Are the government of Malaysia give some support for the local SMEs? All right, can I ask Put Miss Putri to answer this question? Oops, Miss. All right. I think Miss Put have a technical problem, right? Uh, can Miss Zatul answer this question?
Okay, sure. Sorry, the
Alright.
okay. Thank you, Dimas, for the questions. I can say that for the manufacturing sector, government has given the aid because this sector has affected really bad during this COVID-19 pandemic. So the government took the initiative to give some sort of help money aid for this type of manufacturer to keep on living and um, sorry to keep on supporting this type of sector so that they won't get in lost in this pandemic and also for this type of sector this is, they send this the worker for online training so that they will keep on going to leave this sector so that it won't like totally shut down. They still like operating, but from online and from home, just like the other sector. So that it helped this those sector to keep on living and doesn't like totally shut down so that they won't affect a lot of people that work in this sector. I think that's all I can answer this question. So thank you.
Alright, thank you, Miss Zatul. Alright. Alright. I think that's all the question for today. Thank you to our speakers for attending and sharing invaluable knowledge and insight. It seems that time is running out for us. In conclusion, each of us have a great responsibility in upholding the aspiration of the nation, with values and high motivation. Inshallah, we can produce youth who are superior in the eyes of Malaysia and the world. That's all for today. I am humbly sorry if the language used is inappropriate. It is with great pleasure that I hand the floor back to the host of the ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fatin. Ladies and gentlemen, before we end our international program for today, it would be lovely if all delegates could join our photography session by switching on your cameras. Technical team, please be ready to take a screenshot for this photography session. Thank you, technical team. Participants are reminded to fill out the attendance and feedback form that had been provided in the chat box for e-certificate purposes. Once again, thank you for gracing our international forum with your presence. On behalf of the committee members, I would like to I would like to apologize for any shortcomings that had on. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.